Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Atlantic City, New Jersey. Last year, I took you guys down the entire length of Pacific Avenue behind the casinos so you could get an idea of what the other side of town is like. You know, people always say, don't go behind the casinos after dark. It's too scary. Atlantic City's too violent. There's too much crime. So what I wanted to do was take you guys there and show you exactly what it's like on an average night. Tonight's a Monday, and instead of doing Pacific Avenue, we're going to do all of Atlantic Avenue. A common comment that I got was, oh, you know, Pacific Avenue, that's not really behind the casinos. It's not far enough in town. And some people commented, oh, next time do Atlantic Avenue. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk all of Atlantic Avenue, starting behind the Tropicana. This is the quarter garage over here and their old parking garage on the other side. And we'll walk all the way down to Ocean Resort or Showboat. Depends how tired I get. But yeah, let's go. So we're starting our walk out at Brighton Avenue. This is the quarter parking garage and the quarter tower at Tropicana. And that's the west tower, and the parking garage is underneath it. Now, this site here in front of us was the site of one of the deadliest construction accidents in Atlantic City history. The parking garage right here, from about that beam to the end, collapsed at the 5th floor during construction, and that whole, from that column down, the whole garage pancaked from the top floor down to about the 5th floor. And it turns out that there was missing and misplaced rebar at about the 5th floor, according to what I've read over the years. And yeah, it was just a major construction accident, and it delayed the project by about a year. The quarter parking garage and the quarter shopping mall and the hotel tower were part of a $245 million or $300 million construction project to expand the Tropicana and take it more from, take it from more of just a casino to an entertainment complex. And ultimately it succeeded, but not without that crazy tragedy. So if you keep going down Atlantic Avenue here, eventually, and it's just out of frame in this shot, you'll come out near the, or you'll see the former Hilton, and then it was called the Atlantic Club. But we're not going to go that far because it's already going to be a long video. So again, we're starting out here at Brighton Avenue and Atlantic Avenue. And I'll just take you guys for a walk all the way down Atlantic Avenue so you can see exactly what this town is like after dark. I took my smaller tripod with me because it's easier to handle, but it's not quite as smooth as the full-blown DJI tripod I have, so I apologize in advance if the footage is a little shaky. Now, compared to last year, the lighting, or how the phone handles low light, has improved, so the footage should be a little bit better than last year. Last year there was a lot more lens glare in the footage, and I won't put the street names on the screen, I don't think, because that takes a lot of editing, and quite frankly it would take forever. But we're at Stanton Pl and Atlantic Avenue. And again, from this vantage point, you get a better view of the Tropicana. And it looks like the letter R is burned out right now. Last year, I was having issues with my throat when I was recording this video. So hopefully there's a lot less coughing for you in this video this year. And we're walking north just to give you guys a point of reference. In last year's video, we walked south down Pacific, and we're at Tony's Bar, Baltimore Grill, which is a famous Atlantic City establishment. I know it's been here for decades and decades, and I believe they're regarded as having some of the best spaghetti and best pasta in Atlantic City. Earlier, when we drove past here, there was a line to get in, or maybe I'm mistaking it for another restaurant, but yeah, it's quite a famous place down here. So this is Iowa Avenue now. And if you don't already know, and I hope you do, Atlantic City is famous for Monopoly, and all of the street names are mirrored in the game Monopoly and named after the 50 states. So, if you want to play along, write down in the comments what your favorite puzzle piece was, or what your favorite street was to buy in Monopoly. And here's another landmark right here. It's the Atlantic City Public Safety Building, which houses the police department. Anyway, we're going to keep walking. And to be quite honest, I don't think Atlantic Avenue is that scary. I mean, it suffers from the same problems that many large cities do. Homelessness, business closures, lack of investment, those sorts of things. But I genuinely think Atlantic City wants to improve and wants to do better. It just faces a challenging environment in regards to its main industry, the casinos. And here's a fire station here. Let's see, what's it say on this plaque? Firefighter John Seedorf. Hope I said that right. Memorial Fire Station, 1949 to 1979. Joined the Atlantic City Fire Department, Fire Station 10, formerly located at Rhode Island Avenue. Cool. So it looks like the station's got some history behind it, but look at the architecture on this thing. Like, I don't know that the camera's gonna really do it justice, but it's freaking beautiful. So we're at California Avenue now, and we're gonna keep going north. The beach, of course, is about 2 blocks to our east. I'll be hitting up the beach tomorrow. So anyway, oh, there's a really nice looking church down the street there. Try to zoom in on it. I can't really see the name. You'll probably be able to see it in the video. But the steeple is really gorgeous looking. And that's the unfortunate thing about the reputation that some of these streets have is there's a lot of beautiful architecture and some beautiful buildings that probably don't get the spotlight they deserve because of people being too scared to go look at them or too nervous to go check them out. So we're at does that say Spray Avenue? I don't know, it's kind of dark over there. But there's a lot of hidden gems on the way that you just kind of miss because of the streetscape. So we're approaching Texas Avenue now, and you can start to see some of the Midtown skyline in Atlantic City. There's Ballys off in the distance. You can just make out Caesars now. And it's actually a beautiful night out. It's currently 10:39, and it's still, I don't have the weather pulled up, but it still feels like it's about 80 degrees out here. So it's a warm summer night here at the shore. And looking down the street here, it's very busy too. There's a lot of these neighborhoods are just packed with cars. So clearly there's a lot of life in the city right now. Looks like the street has pay to park with mobile payments, like many other cities do these days. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on some of these blocks. There's a corner store coming up over here that says it's open. So that's interesting. This is Bellevue Avenue and Atlantic Avenue. And it looks like you can get some deli sandwiches, some hoagies, hot dogs. It looks good, actually. It looks nice. There's a Total Wireless store here, which is part of Verizon Wireless. Shout out to my employment homie. And, to be honest, too, there's not that many people out here. I kind of had this notion in my head that there would be far more people out on the street, and there just isn't right here. But in a few blocks, coming up on Florida Avenue, if you're keeping track at home, in a few more blocks, we'll be at the Atlantic City outlets, the Tanger outlets, I should say. And that's a part of Midtown that, around the late 20s and 2010s was redeveloped into outlet shopping. And there's a ton of famous brands out there. Like you can see just off in the distance, they have the Bass Pro Shops. They have things like Adidas and Nike were there. I haven't been there in a while, so I'm not sure if those locations are still there, but I know they were not long ago. And see, here's another building that, looks pretty nice. It looks like it's got some really good businesses in it. I can't really read the sign because it's kind of burned out, but it looks like it's some kind of bar or hotel. Doc's Oyster Bar, which I think I've heard of that as an Atlantic City PD unit goes flying by. I think I have heard of Doc's Oyster House, and if memory serves correctly, I believe it's pretty good. In fact, the inside of the bar area looks like it has quite the experience, or quite the screen going on there. I'm gonna peek out across the road here. One thing about Atlantic Avenue, man, is it's huge. You could easily put 4 or 5 lanes in this thing, it looks like, with no problem. But let's just take a peek in Doc's Oyster House as I fall into the street. That air conditioning definitely feels good. Here's just a quick, oh wow, it is really nice in here. Sorry. Doing an Atlantic City video. This is beautiful. I've heard about you guys, but never actually looked inside. Have a good night. So we'll go, you know what? We'll stay on this side of the street just for a few minutes, because I think you'll get a better view. I think you'll get a better view of the former Trump Plaza site from here. So standing on the corner, you can see, of course, the famous Boardwalk Hall. You can see the East Tower Casino at Trump Plaza and the former Trump Plaza parking garage, which still appears to have electricity on inside a year later. I think it did last year as well. I believe the last I heard it was being used as parking for the Walk and Boardwalk Hall events, like a private parking company was running it. And you can still park in there, I believe, during those special occasions or times. But what the future holds for that garage, who knows? You know, it doesn't appear to be going anywhere. And we're almost to the Walk now. Another business that unfortunately I just found out recently closed was this Pizza di Roma place right here. And despite the looks of it, they actually had really, really good sandwiches. Like, for not a lot of money, you could get a huge cheesesteak or a huge breakfast sub. And they were delicious, you know? So it's kind of sad that they're gone, but certainly not forgotten. So coming up next, we are going to be at, I believe, Mississippi Avenue. Yes, this is Mississippi and Atlantic Avenue. And that Doc's Oyster Bar was beautiful inside. I'll have to stop there for dinner sometime. And we've got Bass Pro Shops now. And if you go up the block just a little bit, there's a municipal parking garage that's only maybe 5 to 10 years old, something like that. And if you really want to count, that sign over there is showing that this is the 2200 block of Atlantic Avenue with the former Trump Plaza garage. I find it to be a little interesting that they took the Trump Plaza logo or the Trump Plaza lettering off the building, but did not take down the giant crown or whatever the heck you want to call that thing, and it's still there. So I find that to be kind of, well, just a little bit interesting. I won't go down into the walk or the Tanger outlets. I don't know why I keep calling it the walk, but, or maybe it was called the walk. I don't know. But I won't go down in there because I feel like someday, not this trip, that's a whole nother video possibility. Let me know down in the comments, would you watch a video that goes through the Tanger outlets? I don't know that I would. So you let me know. If there's demand for it, maybe I'll do it. And then another point of interest here is the Sheraton, which is part of the convention center complex here in AC that opened in the late 90s. And the Sheraton apparently has not been doing great because it just got bought, or the franchise got bought. And what's going to happen with that is they're going to turn half of the building on the upper floors into condos or apartments or something like that. I think it was apartments. And the lower half of the building will stay a hotel. I'm just not, I'm not entirely sold on that idea. I mean, I know a lot of places need housing, but that housing doesn't seem to be close to anything unless, well, no, I take that back. If you work at the outlets or you work at the convention center, I guess that could be convenient and upscale housing for you. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll work out. Changing my mind in real time here on the video for you guys. So next we're up to Missouri Avenue. And Missouri features the end of the Atlantic City Expressway. So when you get dropped into town here, this is pretty much your view. And it definitely used to be way more impressive of a view before Trump Plaza closed, because now you got this giant blank canvas here with nothing on it. I wonder if the LEDs still work in it. That would be impressive to turn it back on and see how many of the LEDs are worn out or broken. And you've got Caesars on the other side. And if you go up the next block, you're at Pacific Avenue, as you know. And right here, this Dave & Buster's is new as of, I don't know, we'll put it at a couple months. Because this Dave & Buster's used to be Jay-Z's 40/40 Club. And the 40/40 Club, I feel like, was kind of short-lived because it didn't, I think it lasted like 3 or 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And it sat empty for a while, and now it's a Dave & Buster's. So I'm curious as to how well Dave & Buster's will do long-term. I'm sure a lot of families, I'm sure enough families come here to support that. I don't know how many families are making the trek 2 blocks behind the casino, is my question. Although it is part of the outlets, so maybe it does fine. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, would you take your kid to a Dave & Buster's on Atlantic Avenue? I probably would. I don't see a big deal with it. Got some next generation escape rooms in this building, apparently. Something loud is going on down the block here. And so this is the temple, this is the temple garage over there, or Coliseum garage and temple garage. Wow, look at that. And the Coliseum garage doesn't even look open. Like, those upper floors look really dark. Unless maybe a lot of the lights are broke or something. I don't know. Caesars in general seems to be the weakest of the Caesars Entertainment, ironically, properties down here in AC. There has been some speculation that when New York State finalizes their casino licenses for New York City, there's already casinos upstate, like full-scale Class 3 gaming facilities upstate. But New York City only has racinos. And there's some speculation that when New York City finalizes their casino licenses, that a whole bunch of Atlantic City casino properties could be in jeopardy, but I just don't see it, and I'll tell you why. Because the New York City racinos have definitely hurt Atlantic City. I'll wait till those motorcycles go by, because man, that was loud. The racinos that are downstate have definitely hurt Atlantic City, but they haven't caused the closure of any more Atlantic City casinos. There hasn't been a casino closing here since 2014. In 2014, you had Taj Mahal, Showboat, Revel, Atlantic Club / the former Hilton. You had all of those properties close. And that was mostly a result of a combination of the economic downturn from the Great Recession, but also competition, increasing competition in the Pennsylvania area, or in Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia. So you had all those closures back then. And since then, and man, you get a really great view of Ocean Resort from here with the ball on top of it. So you had all those closures in 2014, and the market has stabilized and even increased in a lot of cases. Granted, a lot of that is from online gambling, where they don't get to keep as much revenue as they do from the in-person gambling, because they have to share those profits with the developers of their gaming platforms. And the state here in New Jersey taxes online gambling a lot higher than in-person gambling, as they should. Online gambling, there's a lot less social benefit to it than a physical building that's employing tons of people and putting money into an area. So yeah, it should be taxed higher. But I just don't see New York racinos having that big of an impact on the Atlantic City casino market, because a lot of the people that would go to those properties are already going to the racinos. And on the flip side of that, a lot of people that would never go to those casinos and come to Atlantic City aren't going to stop coming here just because there's one or two more full-fledged casinos offering table games. I mean, you already have, and I know it's not exactly the same, but you already have digital table games at many of these New York State racinos or downstate racinos. So I just don't think the impact to AC is going to be as big as a lot of people think. Because a lot of the impact to Atlantic City has already happened. It's come and gone. People in Pennsylvania that wouldn't have, that would have come to Atlantic City now have casinos in Philadelphia. And people in New York that would have come to Atlantic City but stopped have already been going to the racinos that are there. So yes, you're taking money from a pie and dividing it up smaller, or even more, but I just don't think the pie is as big as a lot of people think it is, as I'm trying not to get run over by a cop here. So we're going to cross Atlantic Avenue. Look at this place. Look at the architecture on this thing. It's so freaking cool looking. Oh, I didn't even notice. The top half there looks like it might have collapsed. Anyway, this is Atlantic Care. This is their new expansion that was completed around 2006, so 2006. And last time when we walked Pacific Avenue, you got to see the older side of the complex as opposed to the newer one. And there's a plaque here dedicating, I guess, this park or maybe the building to an Atlantic City native, Frank Burnett. Pause if you want to read that, but I'm not going to stand here and read the whole thing. So anyway, I wonder what the deal is with this. Why there's like this is supposed to be like where you drive up to the emergency room, I think, but why is it's like barricaded off with this Jersey barrier. Atlantic Care welcomes you, but apparently they don't. I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind that. So don't quote me on anything. I'm just kidding. Moving on now. We are slowly but surely approaching another block. This is Ohio Avenue. And it looks like there's another expansion to Atlantic Care here. Atlantic Care's growth has been very similar to UHS back where I'm from in the Binghamton area. They just keep adding on and adding on and adding on. So, this is the Atlantic City bus terminal on this side of the street of Ohio Avenue. And on the other side of Ohio, you have the Midtown Thermal Control Center. So the casinos in Midtown, like Ballys, Claridge, Caesars, and the Sands when it was around, and Trump Plaza when it's around, their heating and cooling needs, well, I don't know about cooling, but their heating needs are all met by this thermal plant, and it pumps steam out to the casinos in Midtown. And one interesting story about this is the piping. Oh, it serves Boardwalk Hall too. The piping for the steam system used to run through the former Trump Plaza building into Boardwalk Hall, and they had to, I remember hearing about this, they had to reroute those steam pipes under the boardwalk before they could tear down Trump Plaza, because without those pipes, obviously Boardwalk Hall wouldn't have its heating. So that's just an interesting little tidbit. And I watched them do it. I think it took a good year, maybe a little longer, to reroute all the infrastructure before Trump Plaza could be torn down. Because I don't think anybody ever counted on a lot of these casinos being torn down. I think in the 70s and 80s, when a lot of these original Atlantic City properties were being developed, I don't think anybody ever planned on them having to be demolished. I think for the longest time, Atlantic City was seen as the Vegas of the East Coast, and it was going to stay that way. Well, it kind of didn't. Dunkin' Donuts and Subway over here. Approaching Indiana Avenue now. And these buildings, again, look at the freaking architecture over here. It's just really cool looking. Got a vape store or weed store over there. And Ocean First Bank. There's a potential thumbnail shot right there. So here at Indiana Avenue, you've got another shot of the Claridge. And this is also a former block that the Sands Casino would have been on, which was demolished in 2006 to make way for a potential resort by Pinnacle Entertainment, which never happened. There you go. Yeah. Last year I did a video over on Pacific Avenue, a million views. It was crazy. Yeah, so you guys might be in it. So anyway, we're going down the street, continuing down. We got Atlantic Food and Variety, whatever the heck that is. Like a little mini grocery store, perhaps. And there's ACPD, finest in the country, I'm sure. Don't they all say that? Don't they all say, like, we're number one? I don't know. I don't know my cop rivalries that well. And I tell you, the sun has gone down, but the temperature has not. I am sweating to death. And I'm not even walking that hard. Like, I'm not trying to walk fast. I'm trying to walk fast enough that this doesn't turn into a 3-hour video, but slow enough that it's not super janky. So anyway, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard is our next intersection here. And if you keep going up the street here, you'll eventually connect to Route 30. And it comes out actually kind of right in front of the Borgata. So if you're trying to get to Borgata and you're on Atlantic or Pacific Avenue, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard could definitely be a place to turn. Ocean Resort sign up there. Late night wines and liquors. It's a very, very honest name. You know, it's open late, and you can get your wine and you can get your liquor. Bada bing, bada boom, no problem. You got a DTLR, your fashion, your lifestyle. I don't know. I'm not very fashionable, I can tell you that much. So we're at Mount Vernon Avenue. Isn't that where Hamilton's from, Mount Vernon? Mount Vernon Avenue looks a little on the sketchy side. And let's cross the street over here and hope we don't get run over. But yeah, Atlantic Avenue, man, it's a happening place. I'm just, you know, jaywalking right into traffic here. What's next? We're at Kentucky Avenue. This is where Mitch McConnell's from. Another ACPD car. I'll tell you, it's well patrolled here. I have seen many, many, many cop cars. Can't imagine why. Got an H&R Block so you can get your taxes done when you win millions at the casino. What street is this? I just said it, didn't I? Yep, it's Kentucky Avenue. Losing my mind. That's what happens when you drive 4 hours and drag 75 pounds of luggage to the hotel room and then walk the entire city. It's a good fitness routine, though. Get some Chinese place over here. There's a lot of commotion going on the other side of the street. And this is some kind of... Oh, yeah, this used to be in a grocery store here in Atlantic City. And I think I read some grocery stores coming back. They have a liquor store, though. That's a start. Another one. Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. I do love me some Popeyes. Chicken tenders are freaking phenomenal. Coming up on New York Avenue. So I left New York at about 3 o'clock today, and now I'm back on New York Avenue anyway. I'm here all night. Tips graciously accepted. I'll shut up now. Atlantic Care campus of some variety. And straight ahead you have the Atlantic City Government Complex right there. So that's home of Marty Smalls currently, or however you say his name. Atlantic City has a long, storied history of governmental corruption. I think something like only 2 of the last, I don't know, century worth of mayors have not gone to prison. It's like a prerequisite for the job. Have you gone to prison? Yes, you have. You're hired. I will say there's not as many empty storefronts on Atlantic Avenue as I expected to find. It's definitely a couple, but nothing crazy. And another really nice thing about Atlantic Avenue is there's a lot of really good tree shade. Back home, my downtown had somewhat of an outrage when they cut down all the trees that line the avenue. I don't know if they were diseased or sickly or overgrown or whatever, but this street has really good tree shade. It's freaking awesome, actually. So, you know, on a hot day at the very least, you've got tree shade. So now we're at Tennessee Avenue, and you can start to see resorts, the Courtyard, the Wyndham, which is a great Airbnb spot. It's really supposed to be a condo, but you can find the rooms there on Airbnb for relatively inexpensive for what they are. Atlantic City Free Public Library. I'm not gonna lie, I've been coming here 35 years and I did not know that existed, so that's interesting. But we're on the next block here, just past New York Avenue, and you've got a lot more storefronts. I wonder what that giant building is. It almost looks like that building in Midtown Manhattan that they store all the CIA telecom equipment in, and AT&T owns it and things like that. Kind of looks like that building. I'll probably have to put a picture on the screen to show you what it looks like, but yeah. Otherwise, I'm probably going to sound like a crazy person. Another parking pay meter here, so that's cool. I wonder what that thing is. That looks interesting. Oh, it's City Center. That's the name of the building. The one I said looked like the one in New York. Across the street there, you can kind of see it. Cooper Levinson. I wonder if that's like a law firm. I probably just butchered the name, but whatever. Let's cross the street again here. We're at South Carolina Avenue. And I better walk quick because I think the light's about to change. Can hear more police cars rolling down. So South Carolina and Atlantic Avenue. And that's where you would turn if you were headed to the Courtyard by Marriott, which is over on Pacific Avenue. And we've got a couple more blocks to go here. Will this be a cop car or an ambulance? What do we think? I'm voting cop car. Yep, it was a cop car. Hey, here's another dispensary right here. Oop, I hit the curb. No, I hit a pole. Swear I'm not drunk. I'm in Atlantic City and I'm not drunk. Story of my life. But anyway, I've been saying anyway a lot. I'll try to stop. The Atlantic Avenue seems to have far more dispensaries than Pacific Avenue did. And I don't know if that's because it's more profitable to cater to the residents or just less profitable to cater to the tourists. I don't know. Who knows? So here we go. Next block. This is the block you would turn for resorts. And the next block you would turn for Hard Rock. And then you got a couple more blocks to go for Ocean Resort. But this is North Carolina Avenue. So if you're on the Monopoly board, I forget which color that is, but North Carolina. And that was a green light. I probably should have stopped walking. Oops. It's red now anyway. So resorts down there in the distance as I try not to drop the phone. Another fascinating aspect of Atlantic Avenue is how wide the sidewalks are. It's almost like they anticipated bigger crowds at one point. Who knows? Oh, this is kind of cool. Look at this right here. You've got some kind of... I can't tell who that is. It's Chinese? I don't know. You got a great view of the Hard Rock and resorts from this angle. I remember in my 20s coming to one of these blocks because they had a relatively cheap liquor store. And rather than cart beer and liquor all the way down from upstate New York, we would just stop here and buy it. Along with gas. Gas used to be significantly cheaper in all of New Jersey than in upstate New York, and even cheaper than Pennsylvania. But both states have raised their gas tax in the last couple of years, so it's no longer the case. Look at that car. That thing's freaking cool, man. Wouldn't want to get in an accident in one of those, though. We got a really busy joint over here called Papa's Pizza. Look at this place. I believe this used to be a Gino's Steak, which was a copy of the place in Philadelphia, Pat and Gino's. So the south entrance to Hard Rock's garage is on this block, the older side of the garage. And the next block would be the turn that would take you into the newer side of Hard Rock's garage. And I believe it's, I forget what street it is. Virginia Avenue? Yeah. And Virginia Avenue will take you into the valet for Hard Rock as well, and the drop-off area for the Mark Etnis Arena as well. This particular block is not very well lit for some reason. But anytime I talk for long periods of time, my voice starts to get a little cracky, so to speak. And here we are at Virginia Avenue. And if you turn right, you'll be pulling into the Hard Rock Atlantic City. And you go another couple blocks and you'll be at Ocean. So that's where we're going to end, is at Ocean, I think. Because I miss Ocean Resort. I like that place. Although it's it's a lot more tricky to get a room at Ocean than it is at some of the older Atlantic City casinos. Because Ocean has made a huge comeback from when it was Revel. Of course, it was different ownership. So looking down Virginia here, you've got the entrance to Hard Rock, like I was saying, and their world-famous guitar. But yeah, Ocean Resort, man, huge comeback from when it was Revel. Revel just had way too much debt. And construction, stalled and started a bunch of times on it. It closed for a number of years and reopened in 2018 as Ocean, with very little debt compared to when it was Revel. You've got what's left of Showboat over there. Showboat, of course, has been converted into a water park and arcade facility. The arcade is called the Lucky Snake, and the water park is called the Island Water Park. And here's another good view. There's the Bourbon Tower at Showboat. So anyway, the water park is called the Island Water Park. And the hotel facility at Ocean, or at Showboat, has had some investment over the years. And it's in really, decent condition considering how long it sat empty. And there's still no casino at Showboat, but I hope they bring it back, because a lot of people have fond memories of gambling at Showboat. And overall, the atmosphere with the Mardi Gras theming and the sort of the boat aspect of it was really enjoyable for a lot of people. I know many people on the East Coast praised Showboat when it was back in its normal operation. So here's the Chief John R. Jasper Jr. Memorial Fire Station. And this one, this actually looks a lot more modern than some of the other ones, although not quite as architecturally pleasing. And yeah, so we're coming up on Maryland Avenue. Maryland Avenue is to the side of Showboat. Showboat itself, I believe, is on Delaware, if memory serves correct. And this is an overflow garage that used to be used for Showboat, although it does not appear to be in use any longer. And you can just make out the tip of a new sign they put up for the Island Water Park at Showboat. Great views of the uptown casinos here. In general, I would say the uptown casinos are much more modern than the Midtown and Down Beach casinos. However, there's not quite the energy in this side of town. So like on the upside, you have much more modern facilities, but it's not as lively of an atmosphere on this side of town, in my personal opinion. I'm sure somebody will disagree, and I hope they disagree down in the comments, because I always love to read the comments. It provides me some entertainment throughout my day. Like in Midtown and Down Beach, you have a ton of beach bars. You have wider beaches usually, although recently they were just replenished here in the uptown part of the city. And the beach bars and you have the Wild West, which has like used to be a casino, but now it's more of like a nightly entertainment spot or night entertainment hub. So it seems like there's a lot more to do in those parts of town per se, but it's just not as lively up here. So we're now at Delaware Avenue, which is where we're probably going to turn, because my ultimate goal is to get inside the parking garage at Ocean and just get a walk around the place, because I miss it. It's a really fun property. And I probably could have gotten a comped room there for these 2 nights that I'm down here, but I didn't bother to recheck, because when I looked a few months ago, they wanted like $120 a night. And my whole goal when I'm shooting, or just life in general, is to be kind of cheap and save money where I can. And this apartment complex down here is a huge new market rate complex that was just built maybe like 5 to 7 years ago. And you got the Flagship Resort down there in the distance, which is another, if you're looking for Airbnbs, I believe you can get some inside the Flagship. So this is the corner of Atlantic and Delaware. Came down this road many, many times as a kid, because the whole family used to stay at Showboat. And yeah, so coming up Delaware here, we'll be at Pacific Avenue soon in the water park, and I'll give you guys kind of a look around the edge of the water park facility, and then that'll probably be close to the end of the video, but who knows? So anyway, I gotta stop saying anyway. And there's the entire apartment complex there. I focused on that one wing, but the whole complex is huge. I think it's like 700 apartments or something like that. I could be wrong. And Showboat was a really beautiful property. I mean, when it got bought by Caesars Entertainment, but I think it got bought by Harrah's, and then Harrah's got bought and became part of Caesars, and yada, yada, yada. The maintenance was definitely lacking towards the end of its lifespan. And it's sad because, you know, it had a lot of potential behind it to keep growing and growing bigger. Like this, well, I'll wait till I get out of the trees, but Showboat was expanded a number of times over the years. The Bourbon Tower was the OG, the original tower, which you can see right there, if this light wasn't glaring in my face. So yeah, the edge of the Bourbon Tower you can see right up there. And the New Orleans Tower is right in front of us. Behind this part, which was built in 2002, 2002. I can't get my tongue untied. This wing was built in 2002, and then there's another wing behind it that looks just like the Bourbon Tower that was built in 1996 or so. And then the original Bourbon Tower was built in like 1986 or something like that. Well, the whole Showboat complex was completed around 1986. So we're gonna cross Pacific Avenue here and try not to get killed. But yeah, you got the new Showboat water park right here, which there's also a video on the channel about. And I'll try to put a card to that if I don't get lazy and forget about it. But you could search for it too. You can just type in my name and put in Showboat water park and my video will come up. It's got a pretty decent number of views. I didn't mean to exaggerate earlier when I told those guys that I had 1 million views on the video. I'm sure it'll get there eventually, but last time I looked, it was like around 550, so didn't mean to exaggerate. Sometimes I just get a little excited. So we're inadvertently back on Pacific Avenue now, but to be honest, there's not much left of Atlantic Avenue over there to show you. And you do have a really beautiful view down the street here of the lighthouse, which you can climb to the top of. I don't know if they charge for that. I don't think they charge for that. I don't know. But we're coming up on New Jersey Avenue. And again, you got this really fantastic apartment complex over here. I mean, talk about sprucing up the side of town. What a great place to bring 700 people over here. Although, I think it would have been cool to have like some ground level bars or something like that to really kind of bring some of those people down to street level, kind of humanize the place a little bit more. But you can see how this bottom floor here has stairs going up to it, and that's because this part of town is particularly prone to flooding, especially during, you know, like big nor'easters or like Superstorm Sandy, for example. So great, more great looks over here. You got the Bella condominiums right here, which used to be for like casino workers and lower income, I believe. But now it's like market rate luxury apartments or whatever you want to call it. We've got a couple of the slides sticking out over here. Thought I could go wide angle, but it's too dark. The footage wouldn't look good. Is it open right now? No, it can't be open. No, it's like 11:30, so it's not open, but the lights are on, so that's kind of cool. Got a huge fan in the ceiling over there we just saw. And I gotta say, this part of town feels really, really, I don't want to say it's clean because there's just not that much at street level on this part of town, but it feels a little cleaner than the rest of the city. But also much quieter. Like, I don't think you'd see a place like that Doc's Oyster bar that we just saw. I don't think you'd see that in this part of town ever. Who knows? Maybe someday. So this is Oriental Avenue and New Jersey Avenue, which I believe Oriental is one of the cheaper properties on the Monopoly board, if I'm not mistaken. Ocean Resort recently converted all the lighting in the parking garage to like a newer style, and man, is it bright. They also were recently in the news because there was a incident on one of the floors in the garage where a gentleman was, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, so I'm just not going to say it, but you can imagine. It was an incident involving a particular type of defensive equipment that launched a projectile into another person. If memory serves correctly, I believe it was a domestic dispute of some variety. It was not directed at tourists or anything like that. Look at that, you can see the giant ball up there. Fun fact for you, when the hotel tower was completed around 2010, didn't open then. When it was completed around 2010, it was just a shell for a number of years because of they ran out of financing. And then it was completed around 2012 and opened as Revel. But the middle of the tower, they didn't have enough money to finish all the rooms. So the middle of the tower, you could see right through it for a long time. And just recently, like in the last 2 or 3 years, the owners of Ocean Resort invested something like $60 or $70 million to complete all of the rooms. And on the other side of this huge podium here, there's a whole nother tower that was never completed. Like, they built it up to the top of the podium and just never finished it because, again, money. And I've heard various rumors over the years that the new owners of Ocean were looking into finishing it. And here's a look down the driveway of Ocean. It's a beautiful property. I really hope it keeps doing well because it's just fantastic. Well, anyway, guys, I've been talking so much that I'm losing my voice as a world-famous jitney goes by. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You guys that stay to the end of the video are goats, the goat. And down in the distance there, you can just barely make out Golden Nugget and Harrah's as this car blinds me with its lights. Harrah's used to have like a LED video display on the side of its tower, but I think a lot of it broke, so they turned it off. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to quit before my voice collapses completely. Have a great night. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, do the whole thing. It's way too late. Good night, everybody.